Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 United States Amateur Disc Golf Championships. PDGA Major brought to us by our friends over at Discraft. We're here in Milford, Michigan, taking on the Toboggan course. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and joined alongside me, Wes Shinevar, otherwise known as Team Stamp Wes. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. Excited to watch some disc golf.
Heck yeah, we're seeing the famed Toboggan course. This has been around for now 2 decades, and of course every year crowning our champion for the United States Amateur Disc Golf Championships. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, super exciting. There's some changes to the Toboggan this year, so I'm really excited to see those on coverage.
And we've got a few players to watch. We'll put it out there. Those are your highest rated players here at this event, and we all know ratings don't mean anything. Going out and throwing the frisbee is what counts in the beautiful hole number 1. Pretty straightforward hole. No OB out here, is there?
No OB for the AmNats. You'll see some OB at D-Globe, but hole 1, 516 feet. The real danger is just early and right. You do not want to pull it there. Otherwise, just get yourself down the hill.
Excitement here, and I wouldn't have guessed it necessarily, but sure enough, I know 3 out of the 4 competitors on this card. This kid, when he was born, I'm good friends with his dad. This is Andrew Pecunia. He has the lowest PDGA number out of all competitors in the 13,000s.
Yeah, and a great tee shot there. Really nervy on that first shot. You're competing at an AM major. Nerves definitely come into play on hole 1, so getting a good clean shot really feels good.
This guy, Gary
Vigil, he is the local on the card. So, fun fact, this card is comprised of the lowest PDGA number, the highest rating, farthest traveled, and then the local guy. Local guy is Gary for us here.
And here is Tim, who got here from Australia. Fun fact, back in 2018, I met Tim, and even more excitingly, it was in Australia when I was there for an event. And a few days later, I got matched up during a random draw doubles round, and I think me and his wife were partners for that doubles round. So great to see Tim here in the U.S.
Tim with a great forehand shot. He's really proficient on both sides. We'll see that throughout the round here.
And as you said, highest rating, we got Payton Staman.
A guy I know very well, obviously. One of my underground players. And a really good backhand shot that he just wanted to keep turning over. It stables out a little bit, and he's going to be down the hill. He will not be able to see the basket from down there, so it'll be a difficult upshot from there.
Although plenty of distance, so if you can dial in the distance on the approach, he should be fine. Here's Gary with his second.
Yeah, still about 300 from where he was. He actually threw a Z Thrasher there to get to the basket. He leaves himself about 20 feet.
As you said, down on this left side, he had to actually use somewhat of a landmark to, line himself up with the basket, and gives it a little flick, but comes up short.
Yeah, he told me out of his hand he thought that was really good, but it's a really steep uphill from down there, and it can really play tricks on you.
I think Tim said he got essentially 1 practice round in. So you're talking about some significant jet lag. It's one thing when you're going from, one time zone to another here in the U.S., but when you're coming from Australia, totally different story.
Yeah, that's a big change. We see 2 guys kind of lay up there, just get a nice safe par on hole 1 and keep your day going.
So a tester for Payton to get his round started.
Gives it a stepper just off the cage. And Gary maybe just a little outside 20, maybe about 25 there. And he drills it. Putting really a strong suit for Gary in his game.
And maybe most importantly, just gives you a little bit of confidence on your very first hole of a major. Going out there and make a medium-sized putt definitely gets you started on the right foot.
Tim with a nice cleanup. We talked a little about nerves, even those ones that are normally gimmies for those guys. You're feeling a little bit of nerves as you start, so good putt from Tim there.
And I guess I take it for granted. I get to watch always the best of the best all around the country, and they're so used to cameras where some of our amateur players are getting more, airtime, but not necessarily week in and week out like our top competitors.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of the top, we're climbing to the top of the hill here on hole 2. This is a beast.
Yeah, 680 feet. Your tee shot, you really want to get to the base of the hill or maybe chew off a little bit of that incline. And then your second shot, you are blasting up the hill from there and trying to get up around basket height. Andrew turns that one over a little bit. He's going to kind of be short on the left side there.
That flanner up there on the top of the hill, somewhat of a good reference point for where the basket is. At least visually, it's, of course, that is past the basket, but gives you an idea. And that's a good shot right in the middle.
Yeah, that's really perfect. Just a nice shot right into the middle landing, as you said. Have a good look up the hill from there. Tim going with a little bit of a flex shot, and he's going to be right in the middle as well.
You would take short any day over flailing left or right here. You absolutely want to find the center of the fairway. And if that means taking something off, but Payton doesn't at all, and that's a great shot.
Yeah, he's chewed off some of that height on the hill with his tee shot. He's going to have a little bit easier second shot getting up there. Andrew really goes with a smart play here. He doesn't try and go for max distance. He goes for some controlled distance. He gets himself back into the middle of the fairway, and he'll be able to attack this hole pretty easily the rest of the way.
Yeah, at a certain point, and this is true throughout the entire course, you have to just say, okay, I'm good with par. I'm playing for par. My tee shot didn't put me in a spot where I can really possibly get a birdie, and you just have to really be committed to getting the par. Hopefully a stress-free one at that.
Tim shot stalls out a little bit. He's still a little bit short left, but he'll have a reasonable approach from there. Payton's got no shortage of power. He puts a move on this thing and actually gets up to the flat of the hill. He'll have a look at the basket from there.
And this is a shot just you never practice. No one ever thinks, oh man, let's go out to a hill and practice throwing while running up it. You just don't do it. And so maybe that's the pro tip here is go out to a hillside and practice throwing on the side of a hill like this because it's very difficult to do. It's all about the timing. And that's why you see so many shots flailing off left and right and hyzering and too much turn or not enough turn. It's just because your footwork feels really funny. You're used to throwing on flat ground.
Yeah, part of the unique challenge that the Toboggan presents across several different holes.
I don't know if you've heard of this one fella named Macbeth, but I've heard him talk at great length, actually, about just the speed in which he runs up to a shot, where his hips are, everything he's doing with his footwork while walking up or approaching up the side of a hill. And it's, again, insight that you need and you have to practice it.
Andrew gives that one a bid for par there. He's got a really great high, lofty putt. Really suits well for this course.
Short for Tim. And I was just thinking about Andrew, I believe last weekend or the weekend before, took down his first ever B tier in the advanced division and a very sizable field playing a couple of very, very demanding courses in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. So coming off a little bit of a confidence boost in that.
That always feels good. Another good par for Gary. He was playing this hole for par.
Maybe it goes without saying, but so easy to rack up bogeys and so difficult to collect birdies to negate them out here at this course. Now we're heading right back down the hill.
Yeah, we went up, now we're back down. Hole 3, 915 feet, very steep decline, and then you get down into this flat area here. Really good drives. We'll get down the hill and kind of into this flat, and then you go back up a rise there to get to this basket. Of note, again, no OB on this hole this year. Gary's throwing an ESP Hades here and finds himself in the short grass.
Yeah, when you speak of no OB, of course you're saving yourself the stroke, but there's times where some of this long grass feels like out of bounds. It's going to impede your run-up. It's going to just make things that much more challenging for you out there. So it may almost feel like it's still adding strokes, even if you're not out of bounds. Now that is way off to the left side. I believe that's hole 14's fairway that landed in or near. And Pecunia's is heading that same direction.
Yeah, this is another one of those shots we were talking about where you don't really have these kind of shots at your local course. You really have to go find a natural feature if you want to get some experience. Tim going forehand here. You don't see that quite as much.
One or two wind bounces. That's going to fight itself back to the fairway. Not too far from Gary. That's a good shot.
A great shot from Tim. Andrew throwing from that 14's fairway. You do get some short grass and a little more level look at the basket, but it is still a long ways from over there.
Well, at least have a look at a long birdie opportunity. And similar distance for Payton here.
That one hides it out just a little early on him. He will also have a long look for a 3, though. Gary going back to that same yellow Hades, and he's up there inside circle 2 or thereabouts.
See a very gentle breeze pushing the feather banners around, and really comfortable day out there right now. Sun is shining, of course, but temps in the mid-70s. We're used to being out here in the July temperatures for the last few years, where you're pushing high 80s, sometimes 90s with crazy humidity, and D-Glow can be a real steamer out here. And today, at this point, very comfortable.
Gary gives that one a long bid, comes up just short though, but he'll have an easy par.
Uh-oh. Is there a celebrity sighting? Yourself right there, huh? On the bag?
Who is that guy?
A great bid by Pecunia. So give us the quick elevator pitch on what exactly the underground team consists of, or what does that mean?
Yeah, a lot of ambassadors for Discraft, people that are doing good things in disc golf. We got a great mix of talented players, people that are doing great stuff on social media, and some of the best TDs in the country as well.
Awesome to see. And Tim with the long jumper.
We get a birdie on the card.
Or in his words, birdie.
Oh, and Payton gives that one a great attempt. He's just off. Great comeback putt. Andrew did get a little bit of roll after that first putt, which we couldn't totally see, but hits the comebacker and a couple of tap-ins.
So Tim fights himself back to par, and Gary's got 3 pars in a row. And I think they said par would be better than 1,000 rating out here, so not a bad goal to shoot for as they head over to hole 4.
Yeah, hole 4, 580 feet. Ideal drive will be right up here somewhere. Ideally, you'd love to get past these trees, but that's very difficult. And then you're shooting up this hill here through a tight gap to this basket that is precariously placed on the knoll there.
High rollaway potential. I think we've seen plenty of those throughout the years.
Mm-hmm. See Tim going back to that forehand. That's a great drive. He's maybe just a little bit tight to the right side, but in the fairway.
Certainly something to work with. Let's see what Gary can do.
Oh, he catches that pine and drops down. That's a very common collection area. That pine is really very close to the middle of the fairway. Payton catches it as well, but fights through. Andrew throws something a little bit more stable, and Heiser's just in front of the pine.
Looks like it's time for yoga.
Yeah, tough spot. He's pinched under the pine. He did not fight through that one. He's got a difficult shot, and that disc just stays straight on him. He'll be in the rough there at the corner.
That might have went from not so bad to not so good. We'll see what he's left with. Here's Payton with a forehand. Really love to get somewhere around that, that hard-packed dirt and have it possibly skip up to the basket. It's kind of the ideal play, because if you're coming in hot and you hit it, there's a chance you could skip right past it. But you have to get past that point. Clearly, you see the grass. You need to get past that and hopefully skip up to the pin. Andrew throws a mixed bag and is also taking note that Tim does as well.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it maybe this disc, where he told me that might have been the first time it's ever seen competition on American soil. And I apologize, I forget the name, but I believe it's an Australian disc golf manufacturer, and that might be one of the first times it's ever seen competitive play here in the U.S.
He throws it great. He hits that hard pack just like you talked about, gets a Heiser skip up there, and he'll have a routine putt from there. Gary, not a big forehand thrower, but he does have a serviceable forehand, and he makes it work.
Yeah, that's all you needed in that case.
Mm-hmm.
A long look for Payton.
Oh, and he draws metal. You got to worry about the rollaway there, but it does sit.
You saw the hesitation.
Mm-hmm. A good putt for Gary. He keeps the par train going. Tim going back-to-back birdies.
By the end of the weekend, it'll be interesting to see just how close to par the scores are out at this course. It's obviously got plenty of teeth and plenty of challenge. And like I said, the birdies don't come easy out here. And this might be one of those times you see a single digits under par may be good enough. And here we are on 5, and this might look new to some people because, well, it used to be a red carpet of wood chips, didn't it?
Yeah, they planted grass between years, so now you have this nice grass carpet going down there.
It almost looks fake, and I know it's just new grass that's coming in. It almost looks fake because it looks just so well manicured, and as it's all coming in, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that looks in the next couple of years. And what a beautiful fairway.
Yeah, this has really turned into kind of a signature hole on this course, which you wouldn't think a woods hole would do that, but it's just so beautiful. And Gary flexes one down there, and he gets all the way down there pin high.
It eventually came out.
Wow, and it wanted to finish at the basket even, but it was held up. So, yeah, as you said, pin high, and most importantly, clean almost the entire way.
Payton throws an undertaker here. It flips beautifully. It rides that wood line, but he catches the last guardian.
Just as you're waiting for it to come around that tree, it squares it up. Man, that would have actually been hunting at the basket or probably even gone a little deep. And this looks like trouble off to the left side for Andrew.
I think this is one of the harder holes on the course just because the woods are so thick on both sides of this. It's still a relatively new hole. It's still kind of beating in around the edges. This is a very difficult hole.
And a very awkward stance. Rarely are you on the side of the hill where you're trying to run down it, and then it's muddy. It could be very easy to lose your balance there. And yeah, Andrew told me that wasn't quite the intended route. He got away with one there.
Good play. He gives himself a look at the basket from being buried a little bit there.
I also noticed as he was throwing that disc, it was a mid-range, it was a rock, from a tournament I ran 14 years ago. So we're keeping it all Wisconsin local at the moment. I love it.
Tim elects for a forehand roller here, and there is kind of a backstop where his disc stopped there. There's a fallen tree that can get you pretty close to the circle for a look. Payton with a long bid there. That one comes up just a little bit short. Andrew to save his par. Tim looking to do the same. Just off the mark. Gary hunting for his first birdie here.
That'd be a good way to get off the par train.
And maybe just a little too much want on that one.
And now he's got a sizable comebacker, so you don't want to make that mistake, turning the birdie look into a bogey. So solid, good concentration, and still on the train, 5 holes in.
You see Payton take his time there. That's really a experienced move. Just take your time. You have 30 seconds from when you get to your disc. You don't need to rush.
Yeah, even on the short ones, go through your routine if that's what you do. Some players just get up and throw quickly, and that's fine too. But whatever your routine is, don't break from it, whether it's frustration or excitement. Try not to break from it.
You see Tim collect the double bogey there. Andrew with a single bogey. And we're on to hole 6, which is one of the newer holes as well, 519 feet. This cuts steep to the right off the tee pad. Ideally, you want to land right about here, something that fights back on a hyzer late, and then you have a look across this ravine to the basket.
And last year when I saw this hole introduced, I believe at the D-Glow, I thought it looked like a great hole, but relatively routine. And then seeing it in person, I have a whole new appreciation for how difficult this hole really is.
Yeah, this tee shot is really unique. This is another interesting tee shot that just forces you to kind of take an angle and a shot that you're not used to throwing. And I feel like that's where a lot of the difficulty comes in. We see Payton with his buzz there, got to the center cut. Andrew doesn't quite put that same angle on it and really trust that disc to glide over, and so he ends up on the left side.
And you see our players not throwing full power and clearly just playing for that placement more so than the exact distance that they're going to get.
Yeah, Tim had a good tee shot, and he is still left with this to the basket.
And it just needs to carry a little bit more. Great line. He needed about 10%, maybe 15% more power, and I think he would have been underneath the basket, but still a good shot. 9%. 9% more power. I recalculated.
We see Andrew just going for the placement here to get out of the rough. He throws just a nice high floaty putter shot to get himself back in position. And Gary is looking through about a 3-foot gap over here.
And he nails it. Oh, but then hits a much later tree and finds himself in the ravine here. So here's Andrew after pitching out, trying to get up and down and still salvage the par, but that's going to make it impossible.
This is another hole where the camera does not quite do it justice. That ravine there is really steep, and you do not want to find yourself at the bottom of that thing.
Comes in hot for Payton, but he'll have a long uphill look at it. This is another one of those, every time you see a putt go near this basket, you're thinking, okay, sit down, don't roll.
Andrew makes a good advancement, but he's still just kind of on that hillside. He'll have a long look from there. Here he goes with the Luna, and he just overturns it just a little bit. He'll also be on this hillside. Him with a great effort. You can really see how steep that ravine is from down there.
Andrew's on the side of the hill, so he's got a good look. Still somewhat awkward footing. And you can see just not getting enough power as he's trying to put the putter up, and really smart focused play there by Payton, just saying, hey, I'm not going to mess with a roll-away potential. Just going to pitch it underneath and be perfectly content to walk away with a par.
Gary looking to keep the par train going. And just off on that one.
So the opposite of what you'd expect. Normally you see, like we saw from Andrew, not enough power throwing it up the hill. And Gary, albeit closer, gave it a little too much power.
Cash is the comebacker, though. Especially after just missing that first putt, looking back down the hill at that one. Can definitely be a tester no matter the distance. Good on Gary to just limit it to a bogey. And a nice par for Tim.
We head over to hole number 7. Nothing changed here, correct?
Correct. 667 feet. Ideal drive, you want to get to about where these trees are. You get to a flat spot right there, and then gives you a look down this tunnel to the basket. Another difficult green. You can see this one is placed right at the center of a knoll as well. Payton throwing a crank here. He threw it too high out of his hand. He was kind of worried about it, but there seemed to be maybe just a little headwind that kind of held that over, and he finds himself in a perfect spot.
And Tim gets the nose up. It's likely going to exaggerate the push or the fall to the left side.
See the spotter running over there. The spotters were really great out there.
I was just going to say there's got to be at least a few dozen. And typically you think of spotters and you're like, oh, yeah, it's over here, it's over there. On these holes, they often have to run it down, find it, and then mark it, and then sometimes hustle back up or down a hill. And I cannot say enough about the spotters and all of the effort and work by the crew and the staff and the volunteers and Discraft along with the PDGA and everyone else. Just incredible.
Andrew Heiser's out a little bit early there as well. We see Tim going to a forehand roller. I believe that is with a Firebird, and where he ends up really was best case scenario for him. You can definitely roll down into another ravine down there if that holds its angle. That disc curls around and leaves him just outside of the hallway.
So still has the potential to get up and down for the par.
See Gary just riding the angle of the hill, advances up there.
We got a jumper.
He's excited about the jumper. Trying to negate the bogey he took on the previous hole.
And Andrew looks like he kicked left down there into that ravine a little bit.
And you really couldn't ask for a better spot. You know, this gives Payton the option of going with the forehand as he was doing, trying to just, play the grade of the hill as it was coming back. I think somebody with a comfortable backhand would have no problem from there. That is the prime spot to land on this hole. Looking to take advantage of just that. Here's Pecunia's effort is short.
Yeah, what a result for Tim here. That was just a really great approach. See him going with the flick and also comes up a little bit short.
I think there's something dead down there. There's like flies all in my face.
He was... I just think there's pockets out on this course where there's deer flies and other insects that seem to really collect in certain areas. It's really unique. Or maybe there was something dead down there. I don't know. One of the pros' dead games from last year when they were here. Maybe somebody's efforts.
It's dangerous if you get down in that ravine there.
Andrew, some work to do, and his putter looks just a bit off.
Payton looking for a birdie. Oh, and it comes up just short.
You know, and that's a little bit heartbreaking to know that he threw the perfect tee shot and ultimately is going to walk away with the par. You certainly chalk that up as a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get birdie looks often out here. You got to take them where you can get them.
And Tim just a little off the mark as well. You could tell he was disappointed about that one.
Gary's like, pars are cool. I'm on that.
Pars are good out here.
They certainly are.
I will say the par fours are definitely where you want to try and have some good drives and get yourself in opportunities to find birdies. The par threes out here are very difficult.
And shocked to hear, I think Tim said he's heading back to Australia relatively quickly after the event. So he's not spending too much time. Just came for the U.S. Am Nationals. Pretty incredible. Here we are on 8. Unfortunately, maybe famous for one particular reason and one particular FPO player more than anything. This is the site of Sarah Hokum's rollaway during a Disc Golf Pro Tour event, but a really great hole to go out and attack.
Yeah, this is a good drive. You'd like to see a little more glide there, but you have to navigate through this hallway off the tee, which can be really intimidating, and you really want to get left. And that came out nose down, took a little bounce off the grass, and he's still in the middle cut.
Dude, you got to be calling those trick shots. You just skipping it off the ground and then getting a very favorable kick off the tree.
And Tim actually said he was trying to get farther right and sort of take that backside route that we really don't see anybody take.
It was funny because I feel like he asked the group, hey, does anybody go that route? And everyone's like unequivocally like, no, that's not the play. That's not the route. And even the big arms don't go that route. And he's like, I think I'm going to try that. Like, okay.
Andrew catches an early tree but finds himself with a nice window here to get out. Really good forehand. He gets past that pine, so he will be able to see the basket from there. Still climbing the hill, though.
Low again.
Two low throws there. Gary mentioned he'd been working on throwing down the toboggan hills a lot this week, and Thought maybe that had got a little bit too ingrained. Tim
And-
now coming back left to the more natural fairway.
Opted against the alternative route, it looked like. As I pan over back toward the basket. Uphill significantly. So when you're off on this right side, you have to put it up that much higher to try and climb the hill. But that's also when it's losing steam and then likely fading back out. And puts him out of birdie range, but still pretty solid shot.
Yeah, that's a common spot over there. Just like you said, your disc is slowing down. It's really difficult to keep something holding that Anheuser.
Yep, and we're seeing the exact same thing there by Payton.
Andrew gets himself inside the circle.
And thinking back to Andrew, whose PDGA numbers in the 13,000s, his parents, his dad, Johnny Rumble, who has famously traveled around the globe with me a little bit, signed him up, of course, when he was born, way back in 1998 or so.
Yeah.
But Andrew really hasn't played a lot of competitive disc golf. He has gotten into Ultimate in the last few years while he was at college, but really only got serious about disc golf in the last couple of years. So now it's great to see him actually out on the course, taken to it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Ultimate players come over to disc golf. Tim wanted to give that one a bid. Comes up just short.
I feel like you need to be fully committed or you need to miss it by a foot on purpose. You know, you really need some form of commitment one way or another.
Oh, no.
And that's going to roll back behind where he was. In fact, he's going to lose about 6 feet. And now he's right on the circle. And the miss that we've seen from Andrew has been to the right. You know, usually enough power, usually enough height, but seems like to the right is where he's been missing. Another fun fact, one of the few times I've played disc golf in the last year, got partnered up with Andrew. 2 aces, 1 round.
Wow.
No big deal.
No big deal.
I mean, he was my partner, so I was all about it. It was incredible.
Yeah, we see Andrew sticking to his routine there. Stop the bleeding out of double bogey.
Yeah, certainly been struggling on the last few holes. Tim will walk away with the par, and we've got our 9th and final hole of the front 9 here at our opening round of the PDGA Major, and this one looks very different.
Yeah, they made some big changes to this hole. 472 feet, but you used to just look at a large tree right off the tee pad there. That's been changed. Basket's been moved. Now you kind of have this longer, a little bit straighter shot, but a very difficult green here. And yet again, a basket right on a knoll.
Come on, baby. Oh, no, you're not.
That is pushing hard to the right side. Not too punishing. He should be able to get up and down from there.
Oh, that's not turning.
Tim opts for the turnover forehand and going to find a similar result over there. A little more distance to the pin.
Oh, no, come on. Okay. Maybe we coming back the other way.
Gary's pretty content with it. We'll see if we can get a read for Pecunia. And he also is going to push to that right-hand side. Seems to be a very popular place over there. Not a lot of great options. And the flick will work out just fine. Giving him a look to save the par. Blind and obstructed, and he doesn't even realize that this is going to get on edge and rolls way outside the circle. Meanwhile, Pecunia is going to have to settle for a par. And what a solid bid. Not able to convert. We'll see if Tim can pull out some front nine heroics for us. And that's going to come up just short. What's not coming up short is coverage here at the AM Nationals. Big thanks to Wes for joining me, but also thanks to Crew 42 for the assist, providing your great drone coverage, as well as some additional shot-by-shot coverage. Thank you to the PDGA, of course, our presenting sponsor in Discraft. I hope that you guys will stay tuned throughout the entire week of coverage coming at you, all out of the famed Toboggan course. And we see right now on the front nine, Payton with the best score on the card. Tim and Gary both at 3 and Andrew at 7 over. Meanwhile, hot scores through 9 are 4 under. Very impressive. It's the Toboggan. It's Amnats. We'll see you guys for the back nine.